So right now it is Monday, March 16th. It's about 10:30 at night and I am just now putting together tomorrow's video, which I guess it's today if you're watching this. But yeah, also my allergy cold thing that I had going on last week has now turned into bronchitis. So I'm just shooting this video on my phone, kind of throwing it together at last minute. Anyways, coronavirus. I'm pretty sure that you're only legally allowed to post about coronavirus right now on social media because that's literally the only thing filling my entire feed. So everything's a little crazy right now and you might find yourself stuck at home with kiddos. So I have put together 5 of my favorite DIY/game ideas that can keep your kids busy for as long or as little amount of time as you want. Basically, you DIY a project and then you play the game or you play with the project. You can go as simple or elaborate with these as you want. The DIY part is a great way to have some structured activity for your kids, while once you get the project completed, then you can play with it and be entertained. Now, I went the super simple route, so my demos in this video are like the bare minimum version of everything, but I love these ideas because you can really just throw them together super quick, or you can turn the actual making them into a project and an activity in and of itself. Just do whatever works best for you. Alright, let's look at these 5 ideas.
This first project uses toilet paper or paper towel tubes, so those of you who panic bought these in excess should have plenty, but like going forward, let's try not to hoard the paper goods so much. So start by cutting a long tube into smaller tubes, or just start with smaller toilet paper tubes. Decorate them as much or as little as you would like. Here I'm using Sharpies because that was most convenient for me to grab, but crayons are a great option. You can glue paper shapes to the outside, throw in glitter, however elaborate or simple you want this DIY portion to be. Once they're decorated, glue or tape them together in whatever pattern you want. Hot glue would be the easiest in my opinion, but tape totally works. I just made a little clump, but you can spread them out and design it however you want. Once it's together, you are ready to play the game. Set the tubes on the floor or a table, step back a little bit to a starting point, and try to land cotton balls or wadded up paper inside the tubes. You can change gameplay up however you want. So for example, you could have each player start with 5 cotton balls and see how many of the 5 you can land in tubes. Or you could pick a certain tube to aim for and you only score points if you landed the correct tube. You can also add numbers to the tubes to designate how many points you score for landing one in that tube. The second idea is to make paper plate animal masks that can either be used just for playtime or use them to act out a story. You could even have your kids come up with their own story to perform. This is super straightforward. Start by cutting 2 holes out of the plate for eyes. Then use crayons, markers, and construction paper to add details. Here, I promise I was trying to make a bunny rabbit, but honestly, it looks more like a deranged hamster. Anyways, you get the idea. If you want to see a better looking animal mask, click on the card in the top right corner to see how I made a cow mask for Chick-fil-A's Cow Appreciation Day. Again, make these as complex or as simple as you want, then have fun playing with them. Idea number 3 is to make sock puppets. If you're using a pair of socks you want to keep using in the future, like I am doing, just use tape to assemble your puppets. Otherwise, you can use glue to turn those matchless socks into permanent sock puppets. Some ideas for decorating are to cut out construction paper tongues, eyes, or ears, use googly eyes for, well, I mean the eyes of course, or attach some yarn to make a horse or a lion's mane. To make a puppet stage, slide a couch away from the wall and have your puppeteers hide behind the couch to perform. Or you could hang a blanket between 2 chairs. As a former child myself, I can attest that this is also a great way to get through tedious school assignments. For example, if you have to read from a boring history textbook, that can be way more enjoyable if you have a sock puppet read it in a goofy voice. Idea number 4 involves going outside, so remember to practice safe social distancing or whatever guidelines are in place where you are at. But weather and circumstances permitting, get the vitamin D from the sunshine by making a giant board game on your driveway using chalk. Start by writing the word start and put a box around it. Then draw a long curvy pathway ending in the word finish, and you can also box up around the word finish. Along the pathway you've made, draw lines to divide it into as many spaces as you want. Now for the fun part, you get to customize it by adding special spaces randomly along the path. You can add things like lose or gain a turn, move forward or backward some spaces, or even a fun challenge like run around the house 2 times if you want to move forward an extra space. Lastly, you can decorate the game pathway as much or as little as you desire. To play, have everyone choose a player token like a shoe, toy, or bike and place it on the start. Then take turns rolling a dice and moving forward that many spaces. If you land on a special space, don't forget to follow the instructions. The first player to make it to the finish wins. This one is great because if you get tired of the game you've designed, just hose off the driveway and make a new one. Also, chalk looks really cool on wet pavement. Our last idea is to DIY an indoor version of idea number 4. We're going to start by cutting construction paper into smaller pieces, and we will label one start and one finish. Then on the remaining papers, we're going to add special instructions, kind of like I did with the chalk. Each paper will be one space. Shuffle the spaces together, place them into your desired path, and put start at the beginning and finish at the end. Again, gameplay is pretty straightforward. Players roll a dice. Well, wait, who are we kidding? You know your kids are just going to download a virtual dice app. But then once you roll the dice, move forward that many spaces. Make sure to follow the special space instructions, and if you get to the finish line first, you win. Reshuffle the spaces to create a unique board game every single time. Just for fun, I have a bonus idea. This isn't really a DIY, but it's still a kid-friendly activity that gets some energy out. Pick an object to hide, then gather something you have a lot of. This could be shoes, Barbie dolls, socks, whatever works best for you. Everyone waits in one room while the hider hides the object. Then the hider takes your chosen item, for my example it's Sharpies, and makes a pathway to where the item is hidden. This might sound easy at first, but it gets really tricky when you make the trail overlap itself a bunch. Once the maze is laid down, the players get to follow the trail in an attempt to be the first one to find the hidden item. Whoever finds it first gets to be the hider next round. So I hope you have fun with these DIYs and activities. Stay safe, but don't forget to have fun. Things might be crazy and stressful right now, but there is always hope, and I just want to share a little bit of encouragement with you in this last bit of my video. So in the Bible, the book of Lamentations speaks about a time of great trouble, kind of like what we're going through now, but in the midst of despair, the writer says, "Yet I call this to mind, and therefore I have hope. Because of the Lord's faithful love, we do not perish, for his mercies never end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I say, the Lord is my portion, therefore I will put my hope in him." Right now, it's easy to be overwhelmed by how absolutely crazy the world is, especially since this virus keeps thoughts of death in the forefront of our minds. But in God, there is hope. Our sin separates us from God, but Jesus, God's Son, died as a sacrifice so that whoever believes in him can be saved from what we deserve and restored to a right relationship with God. If you want hope, believe in Jesus. He already knows and has promised how the story ends. Eternal life beyond this broken world. Happy crafting, everyone.